Welcome to the Snake Pit. This is a supplemental edition of the Dropcast podcast. My name is Carl Shim and your name is Matthew Kershaw.
Yes, we're going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. We're going to spoil stuff, so if you haven't finished the game, turn off, go play the game. It'll only take you like 80 hours.
It'll only take you a week and a lot of heart, because fuck, that game is depressing.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. There's so much stuff in there to talk about, really.
Yeah, we should probably begin at the beginning, because that opening scene is pretty hot.
In the hospital in Cyprus.
Yep, the opening hour of that game is just kind of like fucking magical.
It is, yeah, although it was very annoying, at least for me. You know, when you're in bed and you can't move and you're just forced to look around.
Yeah, it's like life.
I was like, notice me, nurse. Look, I'm moving my head and you're looking right at me. Do something.
Notice me,
She just
senpai.
no. She was too busy, like, fucking, putting flowers into a pot.
Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, so let's just go through this intro then and see where it takes us, because I don't know how else we're going to do this.
Well, you wake up after a coma in 9 years, you've lost your arm, you've got shrapnel in your head, and then then the weird... First of all, the doctor that comes up to you, the bald-headed one.
Yep.
I think the big twist in this game would have been much more interesting if all of the rumours about, oh, the doctor in game is modelled after that real-life doctor who wants to do a head transplant. If that was the big twist, is that Big Boss had his head transplanted onto someone else because his body died, would have been much more interesting than fucking what it actually was.
I mean, I don't know. What it actually was pretty good too.
I don't know, it was so obvious though, like when you wake up and he's like, yeah, there's people trying to kill you, we need to change your face, so here, design an avatar.
Yeah.
And then you design an avatar and then it's like, no, you're actually just still Big Boss.
See, if they had explained, like, in a prompt that this was who you're playing as online, so you don't have two big bosses looking the same, then maybe that would, tell you what you need to know, and then you wouldn't think it's super obvious.
Yeah, but I mean, it was super obvious that entire scene was like, okay, so this is the big twist. And even in the initial launch trailer, when Kaz and Big Boss are in the hospital and getting worked on by the medics, and then Kaz looks at the camera and he said, what about him?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so yeah, that's somebody else. That's probably like the medic on board the helicopter. And Kojima went out of his way and he was like, no, that's actually me looking into the Metal Gear universe I've created. It's like, no, Kojima, it's a fucking medic.
So I was convinced that you were going to get to the outside of the hospital and then shot, and then the other dude would take his bandages off and totally be Snake, which wasn't how it played out. You didn't die in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, something I didn't understand is when, first of all, there's like, yeah, you need to change your face. Turns out, no, you didn't change your face, you're still Big Boss. And then a woman comes in and kills the doctor and the nurse, and then tries to kill you. And then, the guy next to you in the ward helps protect you, sets the person on fire, and she falls out of the window. And then he's like, oh, I've been watching over you for 9 years. It's like, how? You were in a coma!
Yeah.
Why is the person that you're playing as in a coma? Big Boss got put into a coma for 9 years. So, how were you in a coma as the player you control?
So this is probably the first major spoiler, I guess. You, like you said, you play as the medic from the helicopter from Ground Zeroes. I'm trying to think, when you get those tapes after seeing the true ending, when Zero visits the hospital?
Yes.
Because he arranged all this shit, which was odd to me, insane to me, in fact.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Zero arranged for Big Boss and the medic, and I think even Kaz to be brought to hospital.
Yeah.
And then he arranged for Big Boss and the medic to be moved to Cyprus under protection. And he came to visit Big Boss while he was still in a coma.
So when he was there, did he just speak to the doctor at the time? Or I can't remember, did he actually speak to Big Boss? Were they both asleep?
They were both, the medic and Big Boss were still in their comas.
Right.
He spoke to Big Boss while he was in his coma and then left because he had been poisoned by Skullface, who put parasites into him, and he was slowly dying. I think the parasites caused him to lose memory.
Yes.
So he was getting like dementia or Alzheimer's from the parasites.
So, right, another spoiler. I guess it's all spoilers, I probably shouldn't bother saying it. But you know when Paz visits Zero in that building in New York, is it?
Yes.
Was he right? Did he become ill? Was he in the building just because that's where he was, and then he got the parcel with the fucking pin in it or whatever that gave him
So
parasite Alzheimer's?
what I think happened is that recording with Paz and Zero happened before Peace Walker,
Right.
because Zero's
Yeah.
the one who arranged for Paz to be taken by the KGB and put under Big Boss, and then eventually try to get Big Boss to return to Zero by stealing Metal Gear Zeke from Peace Walker.
Yeah.
So that all happened before Peace Walker. The tape with Skullface happened. I think it happened after Skullface and XOF attacked Motherbase,
Yeah.
because he poisons Skullface with the fake pin of the boss.
Zero. Poison Zero.
Yeah, Poison Zero, sorry. And then Zero visits Snake while he still remembers who he is.
So why was he in that place, in that building in the first place? Because wasn't that like a medical place?
I think he was ill already, and he was staying there to stay out of, I guess, the public eye so nobody could find him.
Yeah.
Like, they talk about how he's in a room that's not technically exist. There's only one way in and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked so at the end of the game you unlock is it like an hour's worth of cassette tapes or something ridiculous?
It feels like that. I drove across Africa listening to them.
They're really good though, like the one where Zero actually gets poisoned I thought was great, because you can hear him thrashing around the room, calling for help and stuff with the fucking skull face on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty... There's a lot of good stuff in those tapes. I never finished the one where Strangelove was locked in the AI pod, because that's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I got bored of that pretty quickly.
Someone walked in and I realised I didn't want them to think I was listening to tapes of people dying, so I paused it and I never went back. Yeah.
Basically, just to cover that little bit, Strangelove and Huey... Is it Huey?
Huey, yeah.
Yeah, it's Huey. Had a kid who is Hal Emmerich, which is Otacon, and Huey was using Hal in his experiments to pilot Metal Gears, and Strangelove didn't want him to do that, and so he locked Strangelove in an AI pod to suffocate to death.
Yeah, Huey's really interesting. He's like one of the few things in this game I thought paid off really well.
Fuck Huey, goddamn.
Yeah, he's doing one thing, denying it to himself and blaming it on everyone else around him, yet somehow doing it without his own knowledge. Because there's lots of times when I actually believed what he was saying. Like
I didn't believe a word he was saying.
Well, yeah, I guess I was so confused about where that was going, because I thought they would resolve in a way that he was in fact the only sane person on Motherbase, not the most insane person.
Well, that would make sense, because the whole thing was this is supposed to be the tale of how Big Boss becomes evil, and so it would make sense if he was the only sane one, and everyone else around him was going insane and wouldn't believe him. But that, of course, didn't happen.
No, he just turned out to be a massive asshole.
He did, but no, we're still at the hospital here.
We're still in Cyprus, for fuck's sake, yeah.
What was I trying to say? So you play as the medic who's had facial reconstruction surgery to look like Big Boss, and you've been hypnotized by Ocelot into believing that you're Big Boss.
Yeah.
Big Boss wakes up from his coma 2 weeks before the medic and meets with Ocelot, and they discuss the plan, and it turns out that Zero has arranged for the medic to become the new Big Boss, while the actual Big Boss leaves to go and set up his own private military force without anybody knowing about it. Ocelot's the only one who knows about it, who then hypnotizes himself into forgetting about it and then believing that the medic is the real Big Boss.
So, the medic is the one who dies in Metal Gear 1.
Yes, in Metal Gear 1, when Solid Snake invades Zanzibar Land, he is sent by the real Big Boss, who thinks that Solid Snake will fail and die, because he hates the fact that he was cloned and he wants Solid Snake to die.
Right.
Solid Snake goes in, destroys the Metal Gear, and then kills Venom Snake, who is the fake Big Boss.
So, I thought he actually lives though and comes back in Metal Gear 2 when you have to kill him again.
That has been retconned now. So originally, he killed Big Boss and burnt him alive, and then Big Boss came back in Metal Gear 2, and he kills him and burns him alive.
So is it meant to now be Venom Snake in Metal Gear 2?
In Metal Gear 1, it's Venom Snake, and in Metal Gear 2, it's the real big boss.
But doesn't he live through to Metal Gear 4?
In Metal Gear 2, he is burnt so badly, and then the Patriots recover his body and then freeze him.
Right.
And then he somehow wakes up in Metal Gear Solid 4 to meet with Solid Snake.
See, I assumed it would have been retconned in a way that Metal Gear 1 and 2 were Venom Snake just coming back and dying. And then 4 would just be because Big Boss has been off somewhere. Fine. But that's a really weird way to go about it then, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, but, I mean... I like that they've retconned Metal Gear 1, because I always thought it was dumb that Solid Snake kills Big Boss, and then he comes back in Metal Gear 2 and you kill him again, and then he comes back in Metal Gear 4.
Yeah, but I guess at the time, I bet Kojima wasn't expecting it would be like a fucking 10-year odyssey.
No, probably not.
Of this complexity. In like the fucking
No,
side-scrolling SNES game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cyprus, yeah, the woman who... That scene where the woman's like killing the nurse, garroting her, and then does the same to the doctor was like... Kojima's fucking great at direction. Or somebody there is, but he seems to take credit, so I believe it's him. But, yeah, fucking really good scenes.
Like, it turns out that woman was actually Quiet, who was sent by Skullface to kill Big Boss, who learnt of his location somehow, but then she goes to kill Big Boss, but then the medic sees her, so then she has to kill the medic, but then Big Boss saves the medic and burns her alive, and she falls out of a window, and then she dies, and then Skullface recovers her body and infects her with parasites to keep her alive.
Yeah, so that's what confused me, because I assumed when I saw her, because it was quite clearly Quiet, just with more hair, or more flowing hair, and clothing, I guess. I assumed that she had the parasites then, but no, that makes way more sense.
No, I didn't even know it was Quiet. I wasn't paying much attention. I was like, just give me control of the game.
You didn't like the song playing for like 10 minutes?
No, I was so goddamn bored.
Really? I fucking love that shit.
I don't like having the control taken off me for that long.
No, that's absolutely how I would make a game if I was making a game. Just like fucking force the player to sit through my bullshit 80s song with a blurry screen.
Like you're like Kojima then. He just wants to make a movie.
Yeah. Yep. It's really good though.
But yeah, you and the real Big Boss escape this the hospital in Cyprus, which is being attacked by XOF. But also, when Big Boss woke up, it caused a child who had paranormal abilities on a plane to then crash the plane because the child is linked with strong feelings of revenge and anger. But then, at the same time, that child was also brought near the dead body of Volgan, which had been recovered from Metal Gear Solid 3, and brought Volgan back to life for revenge, because it wanted to get revenge on Snake. And so then the floating child, which is actually Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid 1, follows around the dead body of Volgan, which is now reanimated on fire and attacking the hospital in Cyprus, trying to kill Big Boss. But it's actually trying to kill the medic, which looks like Big Boss.
So what I didn't understand was why they were... Right, I guess that makes more sense. Because I assumed that they were always with XOF, because they are later on in the game. They're totally with Skullface. So I didn't understand why XOS were firing rockets and like helicopters and shit at them during that scene.
Yeah, I don't understand either. It's really dumb.
But I guess if they just like found him then, if they were, let's say they were on the plane when he woke up, say, or something, and they'd only just come into contact with XOF then, that would probably make more sense. I don't know what the timeline's like on that.
Well, the child Psycho Mantis was on a plane heading somewhere to a research facility, but then it woke it when I think it's when the medic wakes up, it triggers Psycho Mantis' abilities, which then crashes the plane. But then it somehow comes in contact with Volgan.
Right. Well, it wasn't like Volgan head of like paranormal research or something in the Soviets.
No, Volgan was already dead by then.
No, but I mean
Volgan's
before
been
his
dead
death.
for like 20 years.
Really? That's the
Yeah,
fucking.
Vulcan died in Metal Gear Solid
And
3.
3 was before Peace Walker.
Yeah.
That's weird. See, I thought that's what the explanation was like he was head of research and that's how he was near the body. But
No, I don't know.
Fucking weird.
He was dead for a long time.
Anyway, it looks awesome because this dude's just taking rockets like a boss.
Yeah, he's just fucking burning everyone alive.
Oh, it's really
But
good.
you and the real big boss, who's going by the name of Ishmael, escape in an ambulance, but then you crash it, and then you wake up and Ocelot is riding a horse for some reason, even though cars clearly exist on Cyprus.
But horses are more awesome. We didn't mention the part where this entire first hour is spent behind a dude whose ass crack's just hanging out. And that dude
you're
happens
following
to be
around
Big Boss.
who's in a hospital gown with his ass showing for most of the game.
Nobody else in that hospital is. Everyone else is wearing pants.
No, there's one dude, when you're in that corridor and everyone gets slaughtered in front of you, and it zooms in on one guy's ass.
Wasn't that Big Boss, though?
No, that guy gets killed, and then you're like, oh no, that guy's dead.
Oh, right.
But then Big Boss drags you from another room.
Yeah, I assumed it was, Metal Gear's fucking great. Have I ever said that?
It is. So, yeah, Big Boss and the medic escape in an ambulance, and the medic wakes up to Ocelot. But then, 2 hours before that, the real Big Boss, gets dragged out of the ambulance by Ocelot, who again is riding a horse, who then strips Big Boss and gives him a leather jacket and a cigar and a motorcycle, and tells him to drive away, and gives him the medic's passport, and says, yeah, you're going to need to change your face. And it's a kind of a cool moment where it shows the name and the date of birth that you input at the beginning of the game, along with the avatar's face on the passport.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I really like that moment. It was like a Metal Gear Solid 2 moment, when Raiden takes off the dog tags and it has the player name on it.
Yeah.
It was like one of those.
I really liked it when I went on Motherbase the other day, and it was my birthday in real life, and they brought me a cake. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was like the best cutscene since like the first intro scene, I guess.
Yeah, so Ocelot takes Big. What I don't understand is Ocelot has brainwashed the medic into believing he's the real Big Boss, and this happened like 2 weeks before the events of the medic waking up. But then he supposedly hypnotizes himself into believing that the medic is the real Big Boss. So how did he know that Big Boss was there, and then gave him the motorcycle and the leather jacket, and then told him to drive away and gave him the fake passport and stuff?
Well, he probably hypnotized himself after that, didn't he? Between the events of Cyprus and arriving at Motherbase.
Probably, yeah, because he then takes the medic onto a whaling boat because there's not enough Moby Dick references in this game.
Oh, fair point. I never got that.
Yeah, like fucking the helicopter pilot is called Pequods.
Yeah. Is that a reference?
Yes, that's a reference.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, Ocelot takes the medic to Africa on a whaling boat, and along the way he gives him the bionic arm, and he teaches him and tries to refresh his memory of all that crap.
Yeah, that's all on tape. That's good, hour of tape right there.
And then you get to Africa, and your first mission is to infiltrate this highly fortified base full of Russians to rescue Kaz, who's had his arm and leg removed due to torture.
Yeah, Kaz. He's a character.
Yes, he is. Also, I don't think Kaz is blind.
I thought he... Why would he be blind?
The first cutscene, you see that his eyes are closed and he's not got his glasses on or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you take him to Motherbase and he's always walking around with glasses on. And then hours into 50 or 60 hours into the game, he takes off his glasses and you see that he has no pupils. But I don't think he's blind. I think he just has glaucoma.
Right.
Because he constantly complains that it's too bright out, and that's traits of people with glaucoma.
I just assumed he's fucked up because he's fucking evil, but there you go.
Well, he managed to grab the gun from the kids that was aiming at him, and he's able to actually see where he's going and grab stuff.
He's the fucking worst. He's almost as bad as Huey. In some ways.
Yeah, we'll get to that, I guess.
So what happens for the next 20 hours is you're doing mercenary missions, and it doesn't seem to be very important.
Yeah, that's a big problem with the campaign of this game, is that they padded out the story content with just pointless missions for mercenary work, or wet work as they call it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no. You'll do an important main mission regarding like Skull Phase and XOF, and then there'll be like 4 or 5 missions of drive across Africa and rescue this important VIP, destroy this tank unit.
But that's also what you're doing as a job, so it makes some sense.
I guess, but they could have at least kept it to side missions, or they could have introduced the whole sending your recruits out on missions for you, and just done them. Like I would have liked it if for they put all those missions into side ops, and then when you select to deploy your soldiers on combat missions, you can tell them to do the side ops.
Yeah. See, some of that pays off though, because like you reach the point where you find out when you reach Angola, and you're totally just doing a mission that's just like any other mission, like destroy this dam or whatever. And then hours and hours later, you find out how fucking negatively you affected Africa's health from that moment on. And it's like, I thought that was pretty neat because it was like a really low key mission, like you say, of like just doing work, but then totally seems to affect like the state of this country.
Yeah, so the whole thing is after Motherbase got destroyed and everyone thought Big Boss was dead, soldiers all around the world were inspired by the idea of an army without a nation, and then hundreds of thousands of private forces arose up from the idea of Motherbase.
I love that they call them private forces, PFs, instead of PMCs.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so dumb. I don't know why they did it, but it's pretty awesome. After playing Metal Gear Solid 4, where every other word is PMC or war economy.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought things were going bad when there's a mission called the war economy, but it wasn't that terrible. So, in that Kaz mission you mentioned, you meet the Skulls for the first time, or at least one squad of them. They're pretty cool, I think.
I hate the Skulls so much.
In a way that they're hard to fight, or in a way that you just despise them being in the game?
They're annoying to fight. They just kind of show up, and it's like, I mean, they have a cool backstory. Like, the whole thing is they're full of parasites that enhance their abilities, but at the same time they can't like hydrate properly, which is why they create the mist around them and they absorb the mist to get hydrated.
Right.
Which I guess is kind of cool, but they're just so annoying to fight.
See, I went the other way, and I thought they were great for the fight, especially the sniper ladies at the end, because they look like Borg.
Fuck them.
Oh, they're so fucking good.
I thought they looked like Borg as well.
So there's 3 groups, isn't there? There's the mist ones, who do you take them out with the honeybee? Do you actually kill them then? Do they appear after that?
You can't kill them, they just kind of fall over and they have no health. And then once you kill all 4 of them, they just kind of jump away.
But you can extract them.
You can, I didn't know that, and that's how you gain parasites.
Yeah, because you use parasites when you research the parasite suit later on. And they are basically like special abilities, like you gain stealth or the mist. I guess the armor is the other one. I haven't tried it.
I haven't even unlocked any parasites. I don't want to go back and fight the Skulls.
I have like 16 of those sniper lady parasites because I thought they were pretty easy. Because if you bring DD on that mission, then he just spots them fucking miles off.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
I died so much there that I just brought D-Walker with me, and I just zoomed through the river.
Oh, yeah. Can you just pass them by completely?
Well, they didn't shoot me. I managed to get all the way through without them even spotting me. I went that fast.
To Code Talker's fucking lair.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
It's pretty good. What's your favourite, buddy?
Quiet. Ironically.
Yeah, Quiet was really good, especially when you infiltrate. What's the fort called?
OKB0.
OKB0, yeah. I bought the silent sniper rifle for her that tranks people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not silent, it just tranks people. I set her to attack up on some cliff, and then by the time I actually reached where they were, she had killed everybody in there.
So let's step back, because I want to talk about OKB0, because that mission is fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Back to when you pick up Huey. That's a side op, which surprised me, because the side ops are normally like super small, 10-minute missions.
I hated that mission. I spent so long on that last bit, where you actually reach the, I guess, airfield where Huey's being held.
Yeah. So
I spent an hour or 2 on that.
I sat down at about 9:30 at night, And like I have a pretty strict routine about when I stop playing shit and when I go to bed and stuff. And I'm like, I'll just play this 10-minute mission and that'll be it. It's like it's bigger than most of the main missions. It's like a fucking hour long with actual cutscenes because that's the first time you meet Salamandropus, the Metal Gear with a massive flamethrower dick.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's so weird. It's like the only mission like that that's actually like a full mission. And it's just in the side-ups for no apparent reason. Which was, I guess it's just to like bring your attention to those missions existing, but...
Well, all of the important missions are marked with yellow, and it's one of the yellow side-ups.
I know, but why is it a side-up and not a main mission? Where there's main missions where all you have to do is go into a village and rescue someone.
I don't know, it's dumb. I guess it's to give you the impression of, oh man, this is what the side-ups are like.
Yeah.
They're this, like, important, when it's not the case.
No, but that mission is... So you arrive at the power station, don't you, at the other side of the desert. You sneak in, and then you see Skullface threatening Huey with the Metal Gear in the background.
Yes.
And then he fucking drives off, and you have to make your way through like 4 outposts and another military base to reach them, all in the course of this mission.
And then by the time you reach where Huey's actually being held, there's a fucking gunship above as well.
Oh yeah, they're assholes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my helicopter leveled up enough now that I can call him in and he'll just take care of the helicopters for me. Because I lost so many choppers early on just to like, getting shot down by the enemy gunships. But now my guy's totally strong enough. P-Quad is totally good enough.
Yeah.
To go toe-to-toe. But then... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You then totally discover the fucking walker gears, which I'd thought were a dumb idea up until then. But that fucking hand where you can pick people up is so cool.
Yeah.
And then,
I love it.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that last bit of the mission where you've actually faced with Salamandropus?
Yeah, so you escape with Huey, you like pick him up in a custom walker gear and get out. And as you're leaving, Salamandropus and Skullface arrive, and you see this giant walking Metal Gear with a dick and a flaming sword. And then you're tasked with, just escape this thing. And it took me like half an hour to escape it because every time I got to the drop zone, Salamandropus came and the helicopter buggered off. See,
I had the same issue. I was like, I was on the back of the walker gear running through like trees and shit trying to like lose him. And then I realized if I just throw Huey against a rock and lie down, he will go away, and it totally worked. After dying like 4 times to the thing, I just lay down by this rock and he totally just went the other way, with scanning probe things.
Mm-hmm.
And he got real close to skewing me on the sword though, because sometimes he just slams it down for no reason. And he was like a meter away, and it was fucking so terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like, that the intro scene, it's really tense in a way that most, an open world action game shouldn't be. But I'm fucking holding my breath for like 10 minutes as this mech's walking around me.
I want to say, like, that first bit in the hospital, and then when you infiltrate OKB-0, that right there felt like a Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just kind of it's not a small area, but it's kind of a large area that's enclosed, and it's just get from point A to point B. That felt like a real Metal Gear game.
See, I love all of the gameplay of this game. I do not love how the second chapter goes, which we'll get to in a minute, but like, just playing this game, I actually restarted and played all stealthy, just because it gave me the choice that I didn't have to. And it's just such a perfect playing game, in my opinion. And that's what I'm trying to get across in the review, which still isn't up yet, but hopefully should be up before this.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very technically sound. It's easy to play.
But also challenging, It gets...
Yeah, and there's a big layer of depth in there that you don't initially understand.
Like, I was fucking 50 hours. I had finished the true ending, and only then did I unlock the gunsmith. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Because that's like a lot of side-ups, isn't it? That leads to you having like fully customizable weapons.
Yeah, have you seen that there's a bug on the PC version that you're able to equip and just edit guns that aren't like supposed to? Like, you can have a rocket launcher that fires 100 rockets with a silencer on it.
That's really cool.
It like fucks up FOB missions where you can just invade people with this like rapid fire rocket launcher and just kill everybody.
Yeah. Have you used the what's it called, the rocket launcher that fires like cluster missiles?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that thing is fucking sick. You need to get one.
I just unlocked Wormhole. I'm 80 hours into the game, and I just got the Wormhole for my Fulton.
Yep, I've got that, but I keep forgetting to equip it. So that's going to be super useful in the FOB missions where you can just like airlift anybody, regardless of whether or not there's a platform above you.
I actually had that happen to me. I invaded an FOB the other night, and then the guy came in and stopped me, and he tranked me, and I passed out on one of the bridges between the platforms.
Yeah.
And then he ran up to me, and he ran over to me, so I went underneath the bridge. He tranked me again, and then he wormholed me out, even though I was underneath. I thought I was safe under there, but no, he wormholed me, and my player glitched through the roof of the bridge.
That's good, though, because if you're playing as one of your random soldiers, and they die on the FOB missions, they're actually dead.
Yeah, that's why I always go in as Big Boss now.
I lost my one decent woman in the commando unit that way.
Oh, which one was it?
I don't remember what her name was, but she was like my only A rank female soldier. Fucking
I
totally.
hope it wasn't Flaming Buffalo. She's the best.
It might. I recognize the name Flaming Buffalo. It could have been her.
No.
I've got another woman now who's some Asian lady, but she's just like an E. But like their abilities really make no difference to me when I'm playing. So
yeah,
came out fine. But yeah. Anyway, where were we? Do you want to talk about KB Zero? Because what else happens in that first chapter that's worth noting?
You get Quiet, which I thought was a really cool mission.
Yeah, I was so worried when I sniped her. I thought she was going to be dead, but they totally let you take her anyway.
On the mission on the way to get Huey, I was walking through this big ruin area, and out of nowhere, my car that I was driving crashed and blocked the way I came in, and suddenly I was in a boss fight with Quiet.
I similarly just kind of walked it. Where did you have the boss fight? Was it in that ruined area?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's always there, because you have to go through there to get to the power plant.
I thought you could go the other way. I thought there was like a whole circuit around the outside.
I think that's the only way to get in, so the boss fight always happens there, but it just so happened that I was on my way to get Huey when that happens.
That's actually another thing I didn't unlock until after finishing the main game, was, the towers near those ruins. You can climb up them using the crack climbing. I never did that until I was replaying a lot of missions later on as one of my combat team people or something, after I'd finished all the game. Only then did I get the tutorial on crack climbing. And all these icons pop up on my map. It's fucking ridiculous.
You must have, because you have to rescue one of the African children in a side-up, and he's up in one of the towers.
Yeah, that might have been actually when I discovered it. Was that? But I didn't realize it till that late, and that's like over 50 hours into the game. At least it was for me.
What did you think of the Quiet boss fight?
I'm a better sniper than her in like every event, always. So it was. It was alright. I don't know. I preferred some of the skull fights because they made me move more.
I liked the Quiet fight. I liked just kind of crawling and trying to make my way close to her.
Yeah.
But in the end, I just thought, I'm not going to go up and CQC her because that was my initial idea. I'm just going to shoot her in the face until she dies, and that eventually happened.
Did you have the weird thing where she ran into the pool and was surrounded by rainbows and seemed to be dancing?
No, I didn't get that.
I got that. That weirded me out, but I shot her in the head anyway.
Well, it's because she's part plant and she was, I guess, absorbing the water vapor in the area.
But she was surrounded by like waterfalls and rainbows and like butterflies. Just in
the game's weird.
It's fucking weird. But she's great.
I've heard that
she's great.
You know when she's up on the initial point where she's sniping you?
Yeah.
You can totally just drop a supply drop on her head and it kills her.
Right, so later on in the game you have to replay a load of missions, or you can replay a load of missions. And they're harder. And so what I did when I was replaying them, because I now had all the upgrades and stuff, I just called down bombardments on wherever she was sitting. Airstrikes on her. Because DD will spot her from miles away. So I just wait until he identified which part of the environment she was on, and then just drop an airstrike on her. Well, you took like 3.
I dropped a car on her.
That's one way. That's one way to go.
I put the drop on top of her, but I guess it can't drop there, so it went to a different spot, and I was like, God damn, I just wasted money dropping a car on her, and it's going to miss. And then just as the car was falling, she jumped off the platform right on top of where the car was landing, and it crushed her.
Yeah. Did that take her out in one, or was that like just a section of the
No, that only took like a third of her health, and then she fucking ran off and hid in a cliff and killed me.
Yeah, so Quiet. Right, let's talk about Quiet. She's the one thing that everybody seems to be writing about when it comes to Metal Gear Solid 5. Because she's like the easy, bloggable topic, I guess. Because she wears no clothes. But what did you
So
think? What did you think about it? Because I thought she was like awesome. You know, she has the best cutscenes, the weirdest cutscenes, and to me, her story paid off real well, better than I thought it would.
I mean, I think she's a really good character. The whole thing where, people were having a go at Kojima and being like, this is sexist, and then he was like, no, the reason she wears no clothes will be revealed in game, and you will, like, doubt what you've said about my design of her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you get in game and you learn that, oh, wait a second, she's like part plant. Okay, then.
I mean,
she breathes through photosynthesis.
That's a kind of... It is a dumb reason, considering you can cover her in blood or silver or gold paint. Or indeed clothing.
Or you can give her the XOF outfit that she wore while she tried to kill you. That's what I do.
Yeah, but I know I'm not a woman, so I guess I won't have this view, but I have no issue with naked people or barely nude people doing fucking dumb shit in video games.
Yeah, exactly. When I played the game, I walked around with Big Boss and he didn't wear a top for most of my game.
No, I mean, yeah, 2 games in my case. He never wore a top once in Peace Walker. So... Yeah,
I understand why people like attack Quiet, and I guess the whole I initially thought, oh yeah, she'll have photosynthesis. She's a sniper. She has the same sort of abilities that the N did in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
And then they kind of retconned like the paranormal abilities, and they were like, oh no, the N's totally had parasites that helped him. And then Code Talker got part of his body and started to analyze the parasites, and Quiet's had the same thing where she was burnt so badly that she was dead, and then Skullface had her brought back, and she now lives through photosynthesis, and the parasites in her control her breathing and eating and stuff because all of her lungs are burnt beyond repair.
I love that she had that bit of flower petal burnt into her lung. It was a really cool touch.
Yeah, because when during that torture scene, when they were like, yeah, she's burnt, I was like, okay, that's weird. And then when he holds up the flower petal, I was like, oh, wow, she was the one in the hospital.
See, how did you not know that was her?
I wasn't paying attention at the beginning of the game.
I guess. I
told you this.
Yeah.
This was like 50 hours ago. How was I supposed to remember this?
So you're introduced, like, she fucking escapes you on the helicopter after you pick her up from that sniper fight. And then proceeds to save your life by fucking shooting a jet and a missile out of the air of a moving helicopter in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It was pretty hot, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then like the entire time she's on your base, it's like Miller's like, I don't trust her. She's gonna kill us all. Yeah. And there are a few cutscenes that are like, yeah, she's going insane. Like when she tries to just kill that Diamond Dog soldier and shove a knife down his throat.
Yeah.
But then like stuff gets revealed, and you're like, oh, that's why she did it.
But I mean, even that was pretty awesome. Just watching her destroy like 4 dudes.
It was,
with her feet.
Yeah. So the big thing about Quiet is when Skullface brought her back with parasites, which you learn, I guess towards the middle of the game.
Yeah.
But at the end of the game, you learn that Skullface also infected her with the English strain of the vocal cord parasite, and her job was to go onto Motherbase and speak English to trigger the reproduction of the parasite inside her, which would then spread to all of Motherbase because everyone on there is forced to speak English, and then it would kill everyone, including Big Boss.
And then probably the rest of the world that speaks English.
Yeah, and so because Big Boss spared her life and didn't have Miller kill her, and because she started to fall in love with Big Boss, she took a vow of silence and refused to speak English.
But this is... Oh, fuck it. We're so out of order here, but I guess there's no way of doing it otherwise, is there?
Yeah.
So because I raised my bond with her to max because I thought she was the best to have with me.
Yeah, so did I.
And you're right. So if you're max bond with her, or at least really high bond, and you take her and you sort of like carry on playing the game, get to the whatever mission 45, is it?
Mission 45.
Quiet. It's something quiet in the name anyway.
I was going to say Quiet escapes on one of the helicopters and then goes to Africa, and then she gets captured.
And then a Soviet soldier tries to kill her and then rape her, which is, I mean, weird that he waited till she was theoretically dead, but the part where she took off her pants and now she can breathe again was pretty awesome. I thought she fucking killed that dude with her thighs.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Which
I didn't understand why she left Motherbase, but I guess it was because she saw that the parasite that the English strain parasite that infected all those people on the quarantine platform, she saw that it mutated out of control, and then she was afraid that it would happen to her, and that's why she left. So she left in order to not possibly kill everyone in Motherbase.
yeah, but like this, like the mission was good or whatever, and we'll get back to like the actual story and the order it happened. But what really impressed me was if you didn't like Quiet and you hadn't raised her social link, whatever the fuck it's called,
Bonds.
then she would not kill herself for you. But if you did like her and she did have an attachment to you and she did fall in front of Big Boss, she would totally risk everything for you and basically just fuck your game up.
Wait, so if you don't have max bond with her, she's still alive?
She won't speak English and she won't run off and she won't die. But when you do love her, she will try to save you by speaking English to Pequod in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, so that's it. Like,
and she will die because of her love for you, which I thought was fucking really good story. Like,
yeah, after she gets captured, you go in and save her. You have like a half an hour boss fight against fucking tanks and anti-air guns.
It's insane.
Quiet. It's fucking really hard.
Yeah, fucking just cool. Some of those APCs take way more hits than they're meant to.
Yeah.
I know that's probably deliberate, but it's fucking annoying.
The sandstorm hits and you're carrying out Quiet. You're hiding behind a rock and then you get bitten by a snake and pass out. The sandstorm is too heavy, so Pequod can't find you. And then Quiet has to speak English to Pequod in order to guide him to Big Boss. And then when Big Boss wakes up from the medics giving him anti-venom to stop the poison in him, Quiet is gone. She leaves a tape talking about how she vowed to stay silent and not like kill everyone on Motherbase.
Yeah.
And she wanders off into the desert to die.
Because the vocal... Right, we haven't actually explained what the vocal cord parasites are, but we'll get back to that. So she had to walk off into the desert, or the vocal cord parasites, which are reproducing, would then spread to everyone else and kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah...
But they also kill the host, so she is dead.
Yeah, she's going to have massive fucking lava lungs. Anyway, I thought it was... You know how, like, Kojima said you will regret what you were saying about Quiet and that she's actually a deep character and shit? Like, she's meant to be sexy, that's the point. And I get that some people would be uncomfortable about watching that. Understandable, but you can just not have her in your party ever. And
you can kill her even.
Can you?
Yeah, that scene where you defeat her in that boss fight and Miller's like, shoot her, and Ocelot's saying, no, don't shoot her. You can kill her.
Well, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Diamond Dog, you cannot recruit him. You could kill him when you eventually find him.
But yeah, like the way her story was, that's when I realized that all these people fucking writing huge essays on the representation of women and shit is like, it's fine that they have those views, but I'm almost certain that a lot of these things that I've read, people did not actually get to Quiet's ending, and thus it's like half a story. And it's like, what you're saying is right, you know, I understand your views about how this woman is represented, but also it's like one of like two really great fucking stories told in The Phantom Pain. And it's told in a way where gameplay totally matters, your decisions beforehand totally matter, and yeah, just fucking pays off in a great way. And that's so overlooked by almost everyone I've seen on the internet, which is super disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was happening. I had it spoilt for me that Quiet was gonna, die. And I think I remember telling you that I heard that Snake gets bitten by a snake and then Quiet sacrifices herself.
Yeah.
So I knew it was coming, but I was still like, oh fuck, this is really emotional.
See, I didn't know it was coming, and I spent about 4 hours following that scene, because that's not the end of the game, just fucking cursing up a storm about how shit Metal Gear is and how much of a shit-eater Kojima is. And I just wanted to delete my save, because that's when I then read online that you can, either decrease your social status with her, and she won't do it, or have the fucking butterfly emblem on Motherbase, which is super dumb.
Apparently that doesn't actually work.
Oh, does it not? Because that's what I've read on a guide, but you can save her, is my point, and there's no way of like reversing save in this game. It's just one game.
Well, that's it. you live with the choices that you make. I think that's another thing that Kojima talked about, and that's true in this.
But the part that bothered me was that it took me like 4 hours of thinking about this game to actually accept that this was like one of the most fucking genius things in the game, and that you're right, it does really matter. Yeah, it's fucking great. How quiet shit resolves is fucking great. She's a great character. I don't care what anyone fucking says.
I don't know. There's a lot of dumb scenes, like the whole thing where her and Big Boss splash about in the rain, and then they hold each other, and fucking rainbows appear and doves fly.
It's fucking Kojima, and it's Japanese. And she's
Yeah,
got big
I was
boobs.
laughing.
Like, I don't. What do you expect?
Yeah.
You know, at some point.
I really liked that in this game, Ocelot was like the voice of reason.
He's like the one redeemable person on Motherbase.
He's great. I mean, Kaz is a massive asshole because he's just filled with
Hatred.
a lust for revenge. Ooh.
But it's so well done, you know? Like, I was like actually bummed out playing this game over the course of the week. And not just because I hadn't gone outside for 4 days. Because I'd played like 12 hours of Metal Gear a day.
The problem I had with Kaz is, yeah, he's got, he's heartbroken about Motherbase. He thought that his best friend was basically dead. He lost an arm and a leg, and he's partially blind. And he just becomes so paranoid and hate-filled. He doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And he's just out for revenge. He just wants to kill Skullface, and then they eventually do.
So,
But like, he doesn't listen to reason. And I like that Ocelot is that voice of reason, even though Ocelot is like this homicidal maniac who's like fucking 4 different people at once, who triple crosses people.
it's fucking great. Ocelot is amazing.
Ocelot is the best character in Metal Gear.
He is.
Like,
he is.
his whole arc of like, he meets Big Boss, he falls in love with Big Boss, he then joins with Big Boss. I think that was in like Portable Ops or something.
Right.
He then helps Big Boss escape and create Zanzibar Land while fucking aiding a fake Big Boss. He then helps Big Boss further because he knows that he was defeated and captured by the Patriots. So then he works with Liquid Snake, who is trying to get the body of Big Boss back, but then he actually helps Solid Snake defeat Liquid Snake. He then goes on to carry on helping Big Boss by transplanting Liquid Snake's arm onto himself and then hypnotizing himself into believing that he is Liquid Snake in order to bypass the Patriot systems to get the body of Big Boss to then shut down the Patriots. And then he lets himself get defeated by Solid Snake at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4 because that was his plan all along.
So what you're telling me is that Metal Gear Solid is in fact a game about the life of Ocelot.
Yeah, I fucking love Ocelot. He's amazing. I don't understand why this American Russian is suddenly a cowboy with spurs and a red handkerchief around his neck.
Yeah, I had that same issue, and then especially when he gets his fucking, black armed dudes with red berets, I'm like, there's no way this works. But it's fucking great.
Spetsnaz units.
Yeah.
They're the ones in Metal Gear Solid 3 that he has where you first meet him and he goes,
oh yeah,
and they fucking appear out of the walls.
What's that really awesome blonde guy's name?
The really awesome blonde guy.
Maybe that's fucking totally Ocelot, isn't it? In right where he gets driven on by that lady with her open shirt on the bike.
Gets driven on by Eva on a motorbike. Yeah.
Like fucking
when
Eva,
Ocelot
she
was a
just goes
twink.
around with her tits out for the entire game. This is Metal Gear. Quiet shouldn't be surprising.
In Metal Gear Solid 3, Ocelot, I think, is 18, and he's like just this total twink that has grey hair for some reason.
Oh, he's so cool. So cool. So let's take a step back to, do you want to say the White Mamba entry?
Sure. I think is this before or after Code Talker?
This is, I think it goes White Mamba, Code Talker, OKB.
Alright,
I think.
So,
it could be the other way around. It could be Code Talker, White Mamba, OKB.
I think it's actually OKB, Code Talker, White Mamba. Either way, well, we'll talk about White Mamba.
No, I thought it was...
Yeah.
No, it can't be because White Mamba is inside the helicopter when you visit OKB.
Oh, yeah, good point.
I think...
So White Mamba...
Right, White Mamba.
White Mamba is actually Liquid Snake, who is at that point is like 12, I think.
And a total badass.
He's got this whole troop of African child soldiers under him, and then Venom Snake, aka Big Boss, goes in and fucking punches the shit out of him, knocks him out, and then brings him back to Motherbase.
So the mission 1 or 2 steps before that is you rescuing a load of those kids from a diamond mine, and like you're ordered to kill them because that's the point of the mission you're getting paid for. And the fucking camera pans around to Big Boss and he opens fire, and I genuinely thought, what the fuck is he just opened fire on a load of kids? But no, he fucking shoots a barrel or whatever.
Yeah, it's full of fucking diamonds.
Yeah, but I was like, Jesus, this is going to be the fastest heel turn in any video game ever, as he just guns down 6 kids in this mine. But no. So that White Mamba mission, I didn't know you... in hindsight, I should have known you were going to find a village of kids and that you weren't allowed to kill them, but I went armed with a flamethrower D-Walker and all loud weapons. Like, I had my revolver, which I rarely used. I had like a machine gun and a sniper rifle, all lethal, because I just hadn't realized that I was going to have to trank kids. So that was fucking really hard to do, basically with CQC and like 4 sleeping grenades.
I wish you were allowed to kill kids in video games, and I don't mean that in like a bad way. I just think that you get to that mission and then they're like, yeah, you can't kill kids. Even though they're going to shoot you and kill you in return, you have to just hide behind a barrel and fucking punch them instead.
I think it made sense there, but if this game was actually finished, I bet it's almost certainly going to be a mission where you'd have to kill kids or get a choice to.
I think there's some law that stops you from killing kids, because there's no video games where you can kill kids, really.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder
like
if that extends
Fallout
to
or
Japan.
Skyrim, for example, where they're just fucking invincible.
That's because Bethesda's a shithead.
I guess. But either way, you rescue Eli, and then they keep planting seeds of the Les Enfants Terribles project. Like, Huey talks about it, how a weapons is a past Metal Gear, and then he's like, oh, human cloning. And Miller's like, yeah, we think that Eli might be your clone, we're going to run DNA tests.
See, this fucked me up. What comes next in this revelation fucked me up, because I still thought I was actually Big Boss, not Medic at this point. So when you get those test results back and it's like, oh, there's no relation between you and Eli, I'm like, no, fuck you, Kojima, I know there is. That's the whole point of this fucking game, is that there is.
Yeah, like when they were like, yeah, there's no results back, you're not related to Eli, he's not your clone. I was like, well, then I'm obviously the Medic, because that is Liquid Snake.
I don't know what I thought.
You can tell it's Liquid Snake. You can tell it's Liquid Snake by the way he shouts, "Father!"
Yeah, he's fucking. That fucking fight scene's really hard. He kept hitting me with a machete and throwing fucking flashbangs at me. He was an asshole.
I killed him.
Oh, Molotov, sorry.
He jumped at me with a machete. I reversed it into CQC. He ran into a wall, then ran away. I went round the corner. I punched him in the face with my metal arm, and he fell off the boat and died.
Oh, God. He took me like 20 minutes. It was really hard. But I had no tranquilizers. So I was just trying to punch this kid. Guy has all the weapons and, the will to use them.
Do you want to talk about the cut ending of the game since we're on Eli?
I think we should get to Chapter 2 first, because I'm going to get really disappointed and that will make more sense.
Alright, well, this is all Chapter 1. Yeah.
Code Talker.
Code Talker, this 100-year-old man who's infected himself with parasites from the dead body of the End, was captured by Skullface and forced to work on a vocal cord parasite, which, when you speak a certain language, triggers the reproduction of the parasite in your throat, and basically kills the host and spreads through you speaking to other people.
Yeah. But it kills them by fucking hatching larvae in their chest, and it's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Because, that fucking kill house that you find in the middle of the... when you pass through the
Devil's
Mist Valley?
House.
Yeah. The boss fight that followed it was fucking dumb. Where you just had to, fucking lure him underneath a water tank and shoot it. It was whatever.
Is that what you did? I got in a jeep and rammed him into the big bit of water in the middle of the map.
Oh. No, I just lured him underneath one of the 2 water tanks and hit it with a rocket launcher. I didn't even need to do that.
That took me 2 attempts, actually, because the first attempt, when you're escaping the Devil's House, you get outside, and then you see a car conveniently placed on the edge of a cliff, with, waterfall and water below. I was like, oh, it's like Metal Gear Solid 3 when Big Boss escapes Ocelot and his Spetsnaz unit. I'll just get in this car and drive off the cliff and survive. Nope, I died.
I got in the car, turned around, drove towards the way we came in. Fucking whole thing collapsed. God damn it. But yeah, that scene is another example of how you can go from fucking being dumb shit in the forest or whatever to feeling fucking terrified walking through that kill house. It's a fucking huge trail of blood going around that building. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Fucking pouring out of drains and shit. And it looks great. And then I'm stepping inside and it's silent. And then I fucking stand on like a test tube and I cringed in real life. It was just like the most tense thing walking through all these beds. You know, trying to dodge fucking flasks on the floor and things that might make noise. Even though it's Metal Gear, where it's not even a horror game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that turned out super well. Yeah, so Code Talker.
What do you think of Code Talker? I kind of like him. He's weird and cool.
He's just kind of like this funky old dude, isn't he?
Well, he's a funky Native American. Like, he is from, what tribe?
The Navajo?
The Navajo, yeah, which for some reason Quiet also speaks Navajo. It's really dumb.
Whatever. Fucking she had a parasite that taught her Navajo, okay?
But, yeah.
Code Talker, I can't... Right, near... Like, towards the back part of this game, you get a lot of cassette tapes called The Hamburgers of Kazurai. And Kazuhira, sorry. And I can't, like, separate Code Talker from what I hear in those cassettes anymore.
Yeah, it's just like Kazuhira forcing Code Talker to eat burgers. And Code Talker like, this brings me back.
And yeah, so...
And then he started talking about the chemical additives.
Yeah, that took a turn I wasn't expecting. I'll admit it. And then he's like talking about Kaz's fucking childhood and what kind of places parents would bring him to have hamburgers.
Yeah.
Fucking dumb.
Why did Kaz make a lamb hamburger? And he was like, yeah, this is a hamburger.
I mean, I have lamb burgers, but I also don't call burgers hamburgers. And like,
well, you're an American.
Like, Americans call beef burgers hamburgers. How the fuck does that work? It's two different animals.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's like no weirder than the lamb, but it's still dumb. It's still wrong. But yeah, that shit's cool. Like, I thought I'd saved those cassettes for a while, and I assumed they were going to be like code name for Kaz spying on people that happened to tie in a hamburger in some way. I thought it was going to be his paranoid like fucking memoirs. Because during this point, there's like Motherbase, you know, Big Boss is watching you posters all around Motherbase. Not here's this dude fucking trying to find the perfect hamburger, and he totally has a diner on the side.
What, you think that, you know, all the staff, you know, Diamond Dogs, you know, they're in the refectory, they're eating their hamburgers, and one of them just bites into it and there's a microphone inside.
Like, yeah.
Like, who put the microphone in the burger? And Kaz is just across the room, just hides behind his fucking tray.
Oh, it's going to be like fucking Ocelot interrogating somebody about a burger. Like, I thought it was going to be super serious, and just happened to have like this throwing off name. Not, here's these two people talking about the perfect burger for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's dumb. I mean, it comes out of nowhere. Like, the game is so serious.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, there's like this 20-minute fucking talk about hamburgers and chemical additives.
It's so fucking dark, that game.
It is.
Let's get to the dark shit then. OKB-0. You find out that Skullface has gone to a Soviet military testing base that shouldn't exist in Afghanistan, and you've totally got to infiltrate it. Yeah,
you infiltrate it. You get all the way to the very end. You climb up the top, and he's about to escape in a helicopter, surrounded by XOF troops. But then instead, he walks with you and talks to you, and you go all the way down the flight of stairs and get into a car, and then drive across Africa for what feels like an hour.
So OKB-0, how did you tackle that place? Because it's like the first real stronghold of like multi-layered defenses going up the side.
I told you, I sent in Quiet, and she murdered everybody.
But were you like Quiet doing it? Were you silent and deadly?
I sat in a bush and Quiet killed everyone for me, and then I moved up to the next area.
So I went in, I infiltrated the front line, you know, like there's people outside the main gate, then killed them all from behind, you know, fucking Fulton them, whatever. And then when I found all the tanks and walker gears in rows, I knew how I had to proceed. So I systematically blew up everybody in that base. I killed like 36 enemies with tanks and like rockets and helicopter strikes and shit. And each time you do like random times, the screen will flash with like pictures of Motherbase falling down from ground zeros.
What? Really?
because it's like you're enacting your revenge on XOF space, basically. Like that sort
That's
of. And I
awesome.
wanted to know if you'd seen that because I was like firing tank shells at like enemy fortifications, and then pictures of like towers and shit were collapsing in the background. It was really well done.
No, I never had that quite killed everyone. The only thing I killed was the helicopter.
Yeah, I took that down with a tank, which I was pretty proud of. Fucking shooting this thing from a distance.
That's pretty cool, actually.
That level was great, just because there was a tank right by the entrance, and I'm like, I'm just fucking taking this tank. And then as it would
Tell
get
me,
wounded, I would airlift it out and steal the next one.
you played all of Peace Walker, right?
No, I played about 35 hours of Peace Walker and stopped. I don't remember how far I got.
Well, how did you feel when you realised that Nuke the cat was probably locked away in some soldier's dorm when the Motherbase collapsed into the ocean and it drowned to death?
I don't know how far I got in Peace Walker because there's shit, right? Paz survives Ground Zeroes, which we've missed so far, but there's stuff she's talking about which I don't remember, so maybe there's a lot I haven't played in Peace Walker.
Yeah, so one of the little side things on Motherbase, the only reason to go to Motherbase is you can enter the medical platform,
Yeah.
and Kaz and Ocelot tell you about how Paz survived the incident of Ground Zero somehow.
Fuck.
And it shows a flashback of her. First of all, she gets the bomb taken out of her chest, and then the cutscene kind of fades to black, and then it comes back, and then the medic shoves his hand up Paz's vagina
In a really
and pulls out the
visceral
second
way.
bomb.
Like
I cringed so hard.
Bear in mind the medic is your character in this game, and
Yeah.
he fucking pulls this glove on, but plunges into Paz, sorry, in
Pulls
a
out
fucking
the second
terrible
bomb.
way. Yeah.
Fades to black, comes back, Paz, starts stumbling towards, talking about how there's a bomb in her vagina. Big Boss is like, no, we got it out, it's fine. Paz jumps out of the helicopter just as a second helicopter pulls up next to them and fires an RPG which hits the helicopter containing Big Boss, which then causes the crash.
I mean, that's the best retcon ever, because all you're doing is adding a scene, which is totally valid, and then replacing a dude with a rifle with a dude with an RPG. So,
have you not finished the Paz side quest then?
No, I've got all of them, but I've only been to it 4 times.
Okay, so since we're spoiling stuff, shall I talk about it? Because I've had it spoiled for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's all a hallucination.
She's not really
Paz
there.
is actually dead.
Oh, that's even fucking better. That's one extra layer. So did you imagine the part where you fisted her for a bomb?
Yes. It's the medic believing that he's Big Boss and believing that, I let Paz die because I didn't know about the second bomb.
That's fucking
so
great.
He's actually hallucinating that Paz is there.
That's brilliant.
I think as you get close to finishing that side quest, you hear like soldiers talking about like, why does Big Boss keep going in that room on the medical platform and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all a hallucination.
That's good because they talk about hallucinations being a side effect of your fucking, your splintered brain or whatever, and then you never really see any.
Well, I think that was supposed to be just for that cut, the cut thing with Eli.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, it happens when you're escaping from the hospital in Cyprus.
Yeah.
You get knocked over, and then suddenly red becomes white.
Does it?
You can't. Yeah, you can't. That's when I noticed when I was playing through it again in the truth ending.
Right, I didn't know.
You get knocked down, you wake up again, and all of the red turns to white.
I totally didn't notice that.
It's pretty cool, actually.
I was too focused on the fucking flaming unicorn, but So right, we're OKB0. You meet what's his name? Skullface.
Yeah, you meet Skullface. You walk down. You sit in a car with him as he talks about how he hates the English language.
It's like 15
and he's going
minutes
to erase it.
of exposition.
Yeah,
in the back of a car.
It's
fucking great.
It's super dumb.
Really good.
He's talking about how he's going to get rid of the English language with this virus. And then he talks about Salamthropus. I think, is that the Salamthropus fight?
Yeah, it's coming up now, yeah.
Yeah, so then you arrive at Salamthropus, which he then loses control of.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis takes control.
Psycho Mantis takes control of Volgan. No, he takes control of Volgan. Volgan. No, what
Vulcan
happens?
walks towards Salamandropus.
Yeah, that's okay.
Salamandropus
Okay, so
stands on Vulcan.
no,
or
wait.
crushed by the wheels or something.
Skullface takes you to Salamandropus as he's explaining his plan. You then run into Vulcan, who approaches Big Boss. When he gets close enough, he realizes that that's not the real Big Boss, and because it's not the real Big Boss, he realizes that Big Boss is actually probably dead and this is a fake, and then he kills himself by getting crushed by Salamandropus.
Yeah, and that's kind of when you realize that this whole thing of being sustained by, revenge and the lust thereof is, like, not actually good in any way whatsoever.
Such a lust for revenge.
I don't have any problem with that voice acting. Fucking Skullface is the best.
Yeah, so Psycho Mantis then takes control of the Salamandropus and tries to kill Big Boss because it realizes that that's not the real Big Boss and the revenge that it feels isn't real.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So then you have a boss fight with Salamandropus, you destroy it.
Fucking really hard boss fight. I don't know how you thought.
Really?
I
had no problem. I killed it in one.
I didn't know what to do at the end, so I got to the last phase about 3 times and died each time and had to go back. When things slow down and he leans in towards you. I didn't know what to do. I thought I had to fucking dodge, but just hit him with a rocket launcher. Actually. I kept dying, so I just went for firing a missile in the middle of Psycho Mantis, who was floating in front of you.
I didn't notice that, actually.
So that's a pretty good fight, though, because you're in an open area fighting this fucking Metal Gear, which isn't a new thing for the series. But you've got your helicopter and shit coming in, giving you support, which I thought was awesome. People dropping supply drops and stuff for you. And so it felt like a last boss, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't have anybody dropping supplies in for me. I had to hide behind a rock and call them in myself.
Really? Totally, when he runs out of ammo, gets to the last shot, he was shouting supply drop, and Miller was like, it's on the way and stuff.
I didn't get that.
Right, weird.
But you fight the Salamandropus, you destroy it. You and Miller then approach Skullface and kill him.
Yeah, so I didn't fire at Skullface myself. Miller grabbed after a while, it gives you the choice to fire at him with a shotgun or whatever, and I didn't do it. But then fucking Miller grabbed my arm and we systematically dismembered him in a great way. Really awesome. Didn't you choose to kill him?
Yes, I chose to shot him.
And it did the same thing.
Yeah, it did the same thing. I shot him once in the chest, I think, and then Miller grabbed my hand and we blew off his leg and arm.
Yeah, I was bummed out. I didn't want to shoot him. I wanted to fucking take him back and give him bionic arms and be my buddy because he's really cool.
But, I like his voice. He kind of flip-flops. Like in Ground Zeroes, he was like this Bond villain.
Yeah.
And then in Phantom Pain, he was kind of just like, I'm going to destroy the English language with my Salamandropus. Revenge!
Well, he's kind of like Bond villain for most of it. Like, you see him in the desert that time where you get picked up by the giant sand monster.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely Bond moments where instead of killing you, he just starts to explain his plan, and then he just kind of vanishes.
And the Devil's House. It's pretty great. When you shot the dude in the head.
I don't know, he's kind of cool. His plan was to wipe out the English language to try and kill Zero, and also get revenge for being taken away from his home and being burnt by the English.
Because he was Hungarian, wasn't he?
Yes, he was Hungarian. He doesn't know any Hungarian because he was taken away at a young age. But he also forced Huey to build Salamandropus, a bipedal Metal Gear capable of... I don't know what it was capable of. I think it was just to scare people.
Yeah, it was meant to be the symbol, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he was also developing nuclear weapons with the parasites in order to sell them all across the world so everybody would own nukes, but he would have the ability to disarm them at will thanks to the parasites.
Yeah, the Metal Archaea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's it's so many fucking layers to one dude's fucked up view of the world.
Yeah,
but it's
he was basically he was trying to give everybody nukes in order to stop Zero from having any sort of power.
Yeah, so his motivation, right? So the events of Ground Zero, XOF, it was a shadow organization to clean up after Fox, right?
Yeah, XOF and Skullface went in after Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3 and basically cleaned up the mess that he left. And he was also ordered that if Big Boss died there, he would have to finish the mission for him.
So Skullface didn't like kind of being second best, I guess.
I don't know, but they've kind of retconned now that Big Boss is useless because the events of Snake Eater essentially were all helped by Skullface.
Yeah. But that's kind of why he blew up Motherbase, because of his fucking hatred/not hatred for Big Boss. And that's why Zero helped
punish
Big Boss, because he didn't know about... Or Zero didn't condone the attack on the first Motherbase.
No, he did that in order to punish Zero, because Zero wanted Big Boss.
Yeah. So it took me a while to work out whose side everyone... I didn't even know Zero was dead by that point. It wasn't until the last lot of tapes did I realize Zero was actually been dead for ages because of that fucking pin parasite. I thought he was just alive and evil. Well, you know what I mean. Like, he's out of the picture by the start of the Phantom Pain, basically. Mm-hmm. But you don't realize his involvement until the end of the game when you get the truth tapes.
Yeah, I think by this point he was losing his memory.
Yeah.
But his initial plan was the Patriot Project to put his consciousness inside a computer.
Yeah, he's still fucked up. I still don't agree with his shit, even though he saves you.
Yeah, I'm glad that at the very end Big Boss kills him in the Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah. So yeah, Skullface is pretty cool. So right, then I thought the game was over then, and I was bummed out, because I messaged you at the time, because it was like mission 32, 31 or something.
Yeah, see, I had heard about chapter 45 where Quiet leaves, so when the game started playing credits at the end of like mission 31, I was like, well, okay, then I went across the room, I sat on my laptop for like 20 minutes while the credits played.
But like, it's real credits, because there's credits on every mission, but this was like full credits.
Yeah. I hate the credits on every mission, by the way. It spoils what happens.
Pretty good. I think in that game, it's... I don't know, I have no problem with it. If it was like at the end of every Destiny mission they were doing it, I'd be thinking this is pretentious. But that game is so good until Chapter 2 that I'm okay with it. Yeah, but Chapter 2, there's a massive fucking trailer showing you the most insane shit you've ever seen. Most of it's already in the trailers before the game came out. But it looked awesome, and you're like, fuck, I'm up for another 30 hours of this insane fucking treachery shit. And it's like 5 new missions.
It plants the seeds of something happening, and you have to burn a bunch of diamond dogs. It sets up that Huey can't be trusted. It sets up that Kaz is doing something, and you need to keep an eye on him.
Quiet's being tortured.
He can't be trusted. Quiet's being tortured for some reason. The child soldiers are doing something.
All the shit is there. All the groundwork is there for just like the coolest second act.
Chapter 1, it ends with you bringing Philanthropist back to Motherbase.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's watching it, and then as they go to leave, Eli is stood there, and Psycho Mantis appears and hands Eli a strain of the English vocal cord parasite.
Yes, that's key.
And that's when it ends.
I was like, I wanted to fucking shoot Huey off the side of that platform right then and there.
Yeah.
Fucking...
The second I saw Philanthropist being brought back, and I saw Huey, I was like, oh god, no.
I'm like, you need to... The dude deserves to eat dick and die, basically.
So, I don't remember the order of things that happen, but I think the Quiet torture scene is when you learn about that she was the one that tried to kill Big Boss, you learn that she's full of parasites, you learn that she was sent by Skullface to come and kill Big Boss and everybody.
That torture scene is nothing. Like, it's not even the worst torture scene in the series, let alone, like...
Yeah.
Okay, it's like she gets zapped once and some salt water thrown over her, which is only fucked up when you think about it. It's like, it's not an issue. It's not some weird fucking sex play thing, which is what I was expecting, given how people were talking about it. But yeah.
You also... Should we just talk about the quarantine stuff?
What happens before that?
Something happens with the kids where one of them dies, and then you later learn that Ralph. I think it's Ralph. Ralph dies, and then you later learn that Eli caused it in order to start uprising the kids on Motherbase, and then eventually the kids steal Philanthropus.
Well, they first escape on helicopters, don't they?
Yes, they escape on helicopters, and then you bring them back, and then Eli gets really pissed off at this. and then you learn that Huey was teaching the kids how to pilot Slanthropus,
Yeah.
and so Eli steals Slanthropus, and the kids steal a helicopter, and then they escape Motherbase.
That's just the most awesome scene, though, when the Metal Gear slams through the side of the interrogation chamber with Eli in it. And then you just see fucking Pequod pilot, whatever, in this helicopter threatening by kids who are then making them fly to Africa. Really cool.
Yeah, they fly off to some islands near Africa, and that's the end of that story. The end of that mission was cut. That's not the only bad thing about Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is filled with like maybe 4 or 5 new missions. A lot of them are just like harder versions of previous missions and boss fights.
Yeah, so it's mission 32 through 50, and I've got 7 I haven't done, because you don't need to do them to get to the ending, you just need to do a certain amount of side missions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 7 I haven't done. I think I've done like 4, so there's at least like 10 missions that's exactly the same, with like a couple of swapped out models for no real reason that I can see. And they're harder. It's like, do this without being detected, do this with no weapons and shit. Some of which are more fun, I thought, but still such a bummer, because it should have been a new location.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been an entire chapter, but Konami pulled funding, and the game was getting too expensive, and then they fired Kojima and Kojima Productions and stuff.
Yeah, and there's like 2 good endings in there. Like, I thought we've spoke about the Quiet one. That happens at like 45, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Huey one's like 42. Did we actually say what happened to Huey?
No, I was getting to
Right.
that. So, you learn about Huey teaching the kids how to repair and pilot Slanthropus, because he's continuing his research from using his own kid to pilot a Metal Gear.
Kind of fucked up. Kind of fun, though. That's like the ultimate toy for a kid, isn't it? Like,
I guess
piloting a Gundam, which is basically what Slanthropus is.
Through Chapter 2 and even Chapter 1, that he's constantly getting tortured and questioned about what happened on Ground Zeroes and why he told XOF about the location of Motherbase.
Yeah.
You then learn that he's been in contact with people in... I think he was in contact with Cypher in order to give the location of of Motherbase again in order for his own freedom.
Yeah.
When the English vocal cord parasite starts to infect people, he modifies some radiation device to emit gamma rays, which forces the mutation of the vocal cord parasites, which causes a massive outbreak and causes hundreds of people to die on Motherbase, which he then blames Big Boss for.
Yeah, so before that, earlier on, when you originally found out about the vocal cord parasite, it was because, say, at the time you didn't know what it was. It was just a lot of people were dying, and you were told to work out, what the reason was and put them in quarantine. Now, I didn't bother. Did you bother doing that?
Yes, I actually looked up online of what it was.
Oh, you cheat.
And they were like,
hack.
Yeah, I couldn't work it out myself.
I didn't either. I just pressed ahead with the missions as fast as possible and winced every time I came up with X number of people dead. I'm like, fuck. It fucking gutted my Motherbase, basically, but I just played ahead.
Yeah.
But then that was the weird thing, is because you inoculated them all, making all your soldiers infertile. That was fucking weird, because like the way the treatment works is it makes the male vocal cords parasites female, so they can't reproduce. But I was like, I thought right before Kotoka said your men are going to be fertile, I thought he was like, it's going to make all your men into women. I'm like, fuck, Kojima, you can't do this. This is the most insane shit in any piece of entertainment ever. But no, he just made them infertile, which was kind of boring. I was hoping they would all turn female. It'd be the greatest bait and switch ever.
Yeah, so they all get injected to stop the Kikongo strain, but then the English strain breaks out from something you don't know what.
On the quarantine platform, yeah.
On the quarantine platform. No, it breaks out. Yeah, I guess it breaks out on the quarantine platform. And then tons of men get infected. It turns out that Huey's the cause of it, so you have to go into the quarantine platform yourself, because rather than risk more of your men dying, you go in on your own.
It's a dumb excuse, really, isn't it? It's like, send in the most vital soldier because the other 10 have died.
Yeah, you go in there on your own to take place on one of the best missions in the game.
So, that sets up by like a Halo 1 style fucking camera feed of soldiers going in to rescue people and them getting swarmed by zombies. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, when I saw the zombies, I was like, "Oh, fuck off, Kojima!"
I was like, this is the best. I fucking hate zombies, but I was like, this was the best. Like, I hate zombies, but a few zombie stories are really great. It's just, it depends how dumb they are, really.
Yeah.
And things
This,
like, I thought it did really well. It was super fucking dark and gross and horrible in all the right ways.
yeah, in this case, they weren't zombies. It's just the parasite has mutated thanks to the gamma rays on whatever radiation equipment, and so the parasite, I guess, needs sunlight, and so it forces the host to try to get outside.
Yeah.
And so I guess they just start killing people on the way to try and get outside.
So you fucking walk through that decontamination tent.
Yeah,
You enter the
you walk,
facility.
You walk into the facility, it's dark, there's blood everywhere, there's people groaning in pain. You find like a few survivors every now and then you eventually get upstairs and you learn that, oh yeah, this parasite's in people's throats. It's the English strain of the vocal cord parasite. We're gonna have to kill everybody infected, otherwise it will spread, because the birds outside will somehow get infected with this parasite and then
They're
spread to the
carrion,
mainland.
so they would eat the dead or dying people. Therefore
Yeah,
spread
so
the
they
parasite.
basically have to kill everybody, and do they say that they're going to napalm the quarantine platform?
They fucking do, don't they? They shout fucking open fire or whatever right on the top level when you're there. As you watch your men get incinerated in front of you.
Yeah. So then you get some device that lets you view the vocal cord parasite in people's throats, and then you have to make your way back through the quarantine platform and kill every single survivor inside there as they groan in pain and ask you for help.
Yeah, and the other part is like these are your actual men who you theoretically recruited. At least some of them are.
Yeah,
some of the guards
like,
and stuff.
It's really emotional. Like I don't know the name of every one of my soldiers. I'm not going to bullshit
like
and say that I do.
So you'd be
Yeah, but it's still like they're my men and they're calling me boss, and they're like, "Don't worry, the boss will know what to do." And they're like standing up and asking me for help, and you just have to point a pistol at them and shoot them in the head.
That's the fucking tragic part, is that you walk through and there's people who are clearly... There's a dude who's clearly fine helping other people, and he's not there when you get back to that room on the way back, and you're like, fuck, he's in the building somewhere. You know what you're going to have to do, because it's a goddamn video game.
You walk through, there's just people like groaning in pain asking you for help, and then when you were told, yeah, you've got to kill everybody infected, I slowly walked through the entire facility with my pistol out.
I treated it like a fucking wet work operation and checked every corner twice with my assault rifle and didn't hold back. Because fucking Big Boss is not getting infected.
I walked slowly through the facility. Every time I found someone, I had to aim at them, and they would like cower in fear and slowly stand up as my flashlight was in their face. And then I had to shoot them once in the head, and then you just hear, "Staff has died."
Yeah, I was doing it the complete other way. I was treating it like this is a fucking target range, and I am not going to miss a single shot.
One shot to the head killed every single person in there, and then you get to one room, which is full of like 7 or 8 people. The Peace Walker theme plays, and they all start saluting you, and they start saying, "Don't worry, the boss will know what to do." God. And you have to shoot every single one.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're locked in. You have to unlock the door, and you can hear that they know you're coming, and they're like, "Oh, we'll be fine. We're fine." I have to gun down 6 men, and they don't flinch either. They don't like fucking try to run away or fight you in a way that you would need to kill them. They just stand there and take it. It's awful. That entire scene, though, I love the way it was the same with the Devil's House, where it transforms from this action game where you're just doing dumb shit to immediately, this is fucking tense. I'm in the situation, and like my mind was nowhere else. In stepping in that decontamination tent, it immediately changed the whole tone, which is impressive.
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, and then the last guy. You've got to talk about the last guy.
Oh yeah, you shoot everybody in that room as they salute you as the Peace Walker theme plays. If you take out the tape, they start humming it. You can't do anything to not make that moment sad. There's one guy on the floor who isn't infected, so you pick him up and carry him to the door. Then he starts saying, "Wait, boss, I think I didn't make it." You put on the special vision to look at his throat, and you see that he's infected. And then you have to kill him too. and he slowly stands up and salutes you, and you shoot him in the face.
Oh my god, I used a pistol on him because I was like, it's pretty short range. We're in this little room. Fucking splattered his brain on the back door that was white with the Diamond Dog sign. Fucking blood running down it. It was so visceral.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. That scene, that chapter is like up there with the OKB one for me. Is like the two best moments of that game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't redo that moment. I want to go back and play that mission again.
I don't want
more of my people to die. But like, I want to go back and actually see if the whole taking the Peace Walker tape actually makes them hum or not. Because I've heard so many things that people say it does, but I've never seen a video of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't recreate that moment.
No, it's such a shame that so much of surrounds that part of the game, the 10 hours previous to it, were just sort of recycled shit when it should have been leading up to that moment, leading up to the turn. Because even the scene that follows afterwards with the Diamond Dog scene that was in the trailers.
Yeah, so you're out on deck, you're surrounded by graves full of the Diamond Dog logo on them.
Urns, yeah.
You're gonna scatter the ashes of the people that you've killed and burnt to get rid of the virus out to sea. Big Boss rubs them on his face for some reason, eats some of it, and then says, "Yeah, we're going to turn them into diamonds." And then for the rest of the game, you have a small diamond on your arm.
Yeah, I love how you made it sound as if he's like a fucking weird fetish dude. It's like, yeah, we're going to keep these dead guys, but it's actually pretty touching at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I think that's like one of the best Kiefer Sutherland moments in the game when he said that stuff.
I have no problem with Kiefer Sutherland. Like, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue is the issue. But I don't think he needs a lot of dialogue.
I just wish, people are complaining that they were like, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4, it was like 80% cutscenes, 20% gameplay, and it's the other way around. I wish it was like 50-50.
Yeah, I loved. I didn't finish. I got 2 hours off the end of 4, and I haven't finished it. I know what happens, but didn't finish it myself. But they're fucking both great, in their own way. But this one isn't finished. Fuck.
Yeah, this one isn't finished. We'll get to that. We already covered the Quiet stuff, didn't we?
Yep, Quiet happened. No, it was Huey next. Because Huey's in all these fucking scenes as you're gunning down your men, shouting how it's all your fault and you've gone crazy. And it's fucking
he's like,
his
I'm
the
the
entire
only sane
time.
one here. And,
fuck that dude.
Yeah, so eventually...
Fuck that dude.
Eventually, Kaz puts Huey on trial, says that he's guilty of everything they've said. They bring in the AI pod, which has a recording of Strangelove fucking suffocating to death.
10-minute recording.
Yeah. Rather than kill him, Big Boss gives him a life raft, some food and some water, and sends him on his way.
But he so dumb. He fucking tears his own legs off in anger. He has metal legs, which leads to a great scene.
I thought it was because the boat was too heavy, so he has to take off the legs, otherwise he'll sink.
Maybe. I thought he was doing it to be like a fucking tantrum, as like, look what you've done to me. Now I can't even walk.
I don't know, but as you're lowering him down, he talks about how he's the only sane one, and everyone on Motherbase is crazy, but in fact, he was just a lying psychopath.
But I think he believed it. That was the thing.
Yeah, even Ocelot says that in one of the torture scenes where he's like, yeah, sometimes a man can lie so much that he starts to believe his lies.
And the voice acting is, so good, because I didn't know for the entire game until that scene what side he was on, where it was going. I thought he was the sane dude.
Yeah, I didn't trust him at all, so when, you sent him on his way, I knew he survives because I knew what happens to him eventually.
Yeah.
His wife sleeps with his son, and then he throws himself into a pool holding his daughter, trying to kill them both.
Fucking fucked up to the end. I didn't know that, so I was kind of hoping it would cut back to gameplay and I could fucking snipe him in his boat and kill him, but I couldn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. Because
I would have done. I would have ended it right there. He's like the one person who needed fucking revenge happening to them.
Yeah. I really do like the entire game's plot is revenge. I think it works really well for everything that's happened.
It is. The tone is great. It just really upset me on like a spiritual level, where I was just like bummed out for several days thinking about all these fucking fucked up people and their fucked up problems. I'm like, if you would just like let go of that revenge, everyone would be fucking happy, and you could just run your PMC, in this pleasant atmosphere. Because there's that moment where you get all the posters about, the paranoia is happening. That was the other thing. Like chapter 2 should have been about paranoia and like betrayal, but it was like you had to piece that together yourself. Was the problem?
Well, it sets up that you get off the helicopter in one scene. I don't know if you got this or just me. And Code Talker was sat in his wheelchair by the helipads,
Oh yeah,
surrounded by his parasites. And then he's like, "Keep your eyes on Kazuhira," and then wheels off, and then nothing happens.
Yeah, but I mean, even Kaz was like, they had foreshadowed with those scenes of all the Diamond Dogs guys chanting "kill him," which was inevitably the Huey trial, but you didn't know that at the time. And then you have like all these fucking 1984 style Big Bosses watching posters around the base, which I might add is in between like fucking Idol Girl posters, because of course it fucking is. And
Idol Girl posters of Paz, a woman, a girl who died.
Died with a vagina bomb. So Chico's just dead. What the fuck is that about?
They say Chico's dead in one. Apparently, there's supposed to be more missions. I don't know if it was supposed to be Chapter 3 Peace. I assume so because apparently you were supposed to meet Amanda from.
Oh yeah, the
Peace
terrorist
Walker.
lady.
Yeah, not the revolutionary.
Oh
lady.
yeah,
Come on.
revolutionary if they're quote good, terrorists if they're evil. But go on.
Yeah, you were supposed to meet her and find out that Chico's actually alive and he's somewhere in Africa.
Yeah.
So you were supposed to have these like missions. So I don't know if Chico's dead or not. I assume so because that stuff was cut.
That's such a bummer because I would have loved to have Kojima fucking have a conversation between Big Boss and Chico about the part where he was forced to have sex with Paz in prison, because like that was fucking the most chilling shit in Ground Zeroes, and it's just ignored here.
Yeah,
which is a huge bummer. I mean, the vagina bomb got its scene, but that's less harrowing, I guess, because she's dead afterwards. But I guess
it's pretty rough.
I guess that's what you hear in the Paz Skullface tape, is them implanting the bombs. You know when that cuts away.
Do you?
Yeah, because you know when Paz tells Skullface about Zero's base and like the secret door and stuff, and that's when they then have the conversation about Skullface is gonna kill Big Boss, and then you hear like people enter a room and then they're all struggling as if she's tied down to a bed. So I assume that's when the bombs go in, because theoretically that conversation was at Camp Omega.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's like shit like that. The tapes are fucking great.
I don't understand Paz. She was sent by Zero to recover Big Boss, but then she tried to kill Big Boss with Metal Gear Zeke.
I don't know. I didn't finish Peace Walker.
And then she's there talking to Skullface about how she doesn't want Big Boss to die.
I think she genuinely liked Big Boss, but was torn through her duty. But then when she didn't have the duty, presumably she just liked Big Boss.
I don't know. It's all dumb.
I don't fucking Chico. Goddammit! They should have finished that story. Should have finished that.
Chico
They should have fucking
been quiet.
finished Eli, which I'm sure we're going to talk about now.
Chico should have been quiet. That farewell sausage tweet had to mean that Chico had his dick cut off and turned into quiet.
That would have been dumb in a totally believable way, but I loved how the quiet stuff resolved, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't have been as serious if it turned out to be fucking Chico the entire time.
No,
but
no.
Yeah. Should we talk about the cut ending?
Well, like, what happens after the? So it's Huey, then it's Quiet gets killed or not, as the case may be, and then is it just like here, play some more shit missions, and then the truth ending?
After the Quiet ending, after the Quiet mission, that's when you get the truth ending.
Right.
That's mission 46.
Which is maybe the one time I was okay with replaying another mission.
I wasn't. I felt tortured. I felt like I was being tortured having to sit in that fucking bed again.
So it's just the first
80 hours ago I did this stuff.
Yeah. It's the first hour played again, only with a slightly...
One different cutscene at the very end.
Yeah. Like, which we talked about before, with like Ocelot picking up the real Big Boss before picking up...
And then Big Boss goes
Venom.
off to create Zanzibar Land.
Why is he called Venom Punished Snake?
I don't know, because everyone believes that he's the real Big Boss, so I guess it makes sense to be Punished Snake, but I don't know why it's Venom.
But nobody ever...
I guess it's because V has come too.
Yeah. V.
But also, you learn from the truth tapes that, I guess after the stuff about Quiet leaving, at some point, like it's never determined whether this happens like at the start of the game or the end, but Ocelot tells Miller that it's not the real Big Boss, and Miller gets super angry at this because he didn't realize, and then he's like, well, Big Boss could go to hell. I'm going to help this guy with whatever he needs, but Big Boss can go die for like a...
Doesn't matter what you tell Kaz in this game, he's fucking angry all the time. Nothing is ever good. Like, if somebody's not dying for some cause he believes in, then it's like the fucking worst day ever.
Oh man, like Miller's the worst when you just like try to Fulton somebody. He's just like, you're going to bring him too.
Fucking, if you die on an FOB mission, he's like, are you hurt? Well, maybe you should have tried hard. I'm like, fuck you. I've just walked into this dude. He has fucking 18 UAVs around the corner. What do you expect from me?
Boss, that's a Russian gunship. It'll tear a man apart. Crawl on your belly to avoid detection.
I'm like, no, I'll just fucking call down this green box into the middle of the desert, get out a honeybee, and kill the dude. It's that easy. Or a tank. I fucking love, like, we haven't talked about the gameplay, but that's fine, because we did on the...
Yeah, we haven't talked about the gameplay at all.
I mean, we talked about it on the dropping in, which is on the site, and it's a lot of my review, because that game is amazing in terms of gameplay and stuff. So I'm not too worried about that, but yeah, let's talk about this cut ending and then call it a day, because that's really the last thing.
Yeah, so initially there was supposed to be 3 chapters, or 5 chapters, no one's entirely sure. But Chapter 2 was supposed to end... I'm sure Chapter 2 was supposed to have more content in it than what it actually did.
I'd imagine so, because there's not a lot.
Considering it ends on episode 40, or mission 46, and then the cut ending is mission like 50 or 51.
51 is the cut ending, 50 is truth.
Yeah. So, essentially, you go to the island of Africa in order to take back Philanthropus and Eli and the kids there.
Yeah.
But also XOF is also invading at the same time. You have one last boss battle against Philanthropus, and you destroy it. And as you go to, you have to go and rescue Eli because he has started to hit puberty, but he's also infected by the English strain of the vocal cord parasite, and so it only works on adults, I guess. But because he's going through puberty, it's starting to affect him.
Yeah, it's the development of the vocal cords.
Yeah,
is what it affects.
So you have to go in there and recapture him.
But like,
and you're also going to napalm the island to get rid of all traces of the virus.
So we aren't like, this isn't just some fucking fan conspiracy about cut shit. It's like the Chapter 2 is a fucking mess, and then on the collector's edition of the Phantom Pain was this, I think it's 20-minute video, wasn't it, of this mission you've just been speaking about, like of like a mix of concept art and partially completed scenes, sort of laying out the events, and it's fucking great. Like, even half completed, that gives you more resolution than any of the endings in the game, and the game ends like 4 times.
Yeah, and there's some really cool things there. Like, we talked about the hallucinations before, but at one point Big Boss gets thrown back by grenades as XOF are surrounding Eli, and you start to hallucinate and you can't see red anymore. And there's even like little hints about it, like you look at your arm and it's white, your robot arm, instead of red.
Oh fuck yeah.
So that gives you a hint that you can't see red, and of course XOF are all wearing white hazmat suits, but Eli's wearing a red one.
Yeah. And
you can't see it anymore, so you shoot all the XOF people, and then you shoot Eli.
But it turns out he's wearing a bulletproof vest, because of course he is.
Yeah, of course he is. As you know, you go to leave, you take back all the kids, but then why do they leave Eli again?
What do they mean? Why do they leave with Eli, or why do they leave him?
Why do they leave Eli? Because he's not dead. Why do they not bring him back?
I don't know. Big Boss is pretty persuasive. Ocelot has cool boots. I would leave with them too.
Either way, they go to leave Eli to die. Big Boss gives him a pistol with 1 bullet. In order, he's like, it sets up that Eli might shoot him in the back as he walks away, but instead they fly off, and Eli goes to shoot himself in the head and commit suicide. Psycho Mantis appears, pulls the fucking virus out of his throat for some like Deus Ex Machina reason.
Awesome.
And then flies away. He flies away with Eli as the fucking island gets napalmed.
Yeah. It's
super dumb.
But it's like right, there wasn't even an ending boss. That's an issue. For a start, the last boss you fight is in mission 31.
Yeah.
Unless you replay the missions with the skulls on a harder difficulty, which who the fuck would do that, because it's insane. Yeah, so it's so disappointing. But I honestly think people should go and watch that video. It's on YouTube now. When you finished it, because it's the resolution.
after the credits play for that stuff, it then shows a picture of New York with the Twin
Oh,
Towers,
fuck yeah.
and you hear Eli say something like, "It isn't over, not yet," which led fans to believe that some announcement was coming on 9/11 about the cut content, and that never happened. Now fans are holding on. They're like, no, guys, we just have to wait until Peace Day. That's when they'll announce the cut content.
See, the thing is, like, you would have to rewrite everything from, like, not rewrite everything, but you'd have to restructure everything from Mission 32 onwards for that to actually work. So,
Well, the whole thing is like, apparently there was something about the file size, like it's 27 gigs
right.
on the consoles, but on PC it's only 21 gigs for some reason.
Yeah. Don't know.
So like there's content that's not there for some reason, which I mean, if it was on PC you'd be able to access it, but if it was on consoles you can't access it, so it's possible that their cut content is still on the disc for the console versions but not the PC versions.
Yeah.
'Cause people are hacking into it and they're pulling out stuff in there. Like, have you seen the cutscenes about? I don't know if it's an FOB, but like for Chapter 3, which is called Peace, there's a cutscene that people have pulled out where I guess for Chapter 3, you then went around the world and tried to dispose of all the nukes that Skullface had sent out, and you take out all the nukes and you dispose of them, and there's like the final cutscene for that.
No, but you can do that in the FOBs.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an FOB thing or if it's an actual from Chapter 3 because the African kids are still there.
Yeah, it
So
probably
it wouldn't
was
make sense
story
for it to
stuff.
be two. But I mean, yeah, you go through the world and you remove all the nukes in the world.
Have you bought a nuke? Have you done the nuke thing?
No.
So if you can make a nukes to defend your mother base, they work as deterrents because only people with nukes can attack bases with nukes. They are expensive, but it kind of gives you you can only attack bases with nukes if you have them. So it says like you can either build a nuke for defense or go and disarm other people's stuff. But I haven't had a chance to disarm anybody's because I don't have a nuke myself to find them.
I'm pretty sure you can still find people with nukes when you invade their FOBs if you don't have one.
See, I read that you couldn't, hence that was the deterrence. Was that you are limiting the amount of people who could attack your base because you have a nuke on it.
Maybe, but what can you do with a nuke? Can you actually nuke other people's mother bases?
That's what I've heard, but I've only seen videos of people stealing nukes of other people's bases, which is probably a worse fate because the amount of time it takes to build a nuke. You need 75,000 fuel resources and 50,000 common metal,
yeah,
which is a lot of fuel.
I've been invading people's mother bases just for their fuel resources. I'll go into their base development platform. I have a perfect route to get undetected and take out everybody, and then I steal all the fuel resources and I end it.
So are you going to build a nuke? Are you going to do that?
If there's an achievement for it.
See, I have the resources to build a nuke now, but I won't because that fucking fucks up your heroism. It like decreases it to a level that you can't like recover from by the sounds of it, and obviously grows your fucking horn.
I've heard it gives you like 50,000 demon points rather than heroism points, and it makes it so you're always bloody and you have a massive devil horn.
Yeah, and I don't want that. Fucking my big boss believes in no nukes, not escalation. So I'm not going to do that unless I work out for some reason why I should. But I love that choice is in there as like a system. I thought that was really interesting because like no game has ever done that. It's just like, oh yeah, nuke somebody or whatever, or nukes are the worst. But it's like, no, this is entirely your choice how you want to do this, and it has an impact on the gameplay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. I mean, we've been going for an hour, 40 minutes.
Because this game's got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the notes I wrote down for this exact podcast. I think we've hit everything. I want to reiterate that you spend like 2 hours of this game watching Snake's bare ass crack as you edge along the floor. Yep. That's fucking gold.
Oh, I was edging on the floor, right?
I was edging myself on the floor while edging Snake on the floor after Snake. My Snake was on the floor edging his Snake following a different Snake. Snake Pit.
What are your feelings on the whole twist where you're actually the medic the entire time?
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, but I had it spoiled for me.
I thought it was super dumb. I knew it was going to happen. I had it spoiled for me as well at the end, and I was like, okay, then I was right.
I thought that was what was going to happen early on. That fucked me up when they ask you to make a face, and then it kept the face there as the avatar. It just confused me in loads of ways, and then I sort of forgot about it until the very end when I watched the truth scenes, and it was so much cooler. Yeah, it's great. Some of those cassette tapes are great. Skullface is great. Quiet is great. Fuck the haters. Eli deserves better.
Eli had a hard life.
He fucking did, and he has a brilliant accent. I love it. I wish he wasn't fucking 12.
I don't understand. He's like, I don't remember his exact like not language. What am I looking for?
Accent.
No, heritage, whatever. Like, I think he's British, but he's also African.
I think,
or American. I don't remember.
He was trained by Cypher in England, wasn't he? And then just abandoned in Africa.
I think so. Yeah,
and that was the idea. Whatever. There's weirder stuff in that game than how he got to Africa, but yeah, I want to see the ending, but I don't want it. And Konami have done paid DLC endings before. They did it for Castlevania. But the problem is, I don't think that'll make the game... I mean, it might be a good ending, and paying for it is obviously bad, but I don't give a fuck. I need to see that properly.
But it won't be Kojima's ending.
And it won't be complete, because you still have to play the fucking, 10 hours of Chapter 2 bullshit, which isn't, fucking well-paced. It is just, hours of drag in between hours of brilliance.
Yeah.
So even if they do release a, quote, Chapter 3 and a new area... And just aside from the part where you have to pay for it, and it should have been in the game because that's how games are made. But it's still going to be a fucked up ending in the worst way.
Yeah, it's a shame. There's a lot of problems with the game being incomplete and the story, and a lot of things dragging what should be an easy game of the year down.
Yeah, it is. It is really sad, but there's some brilliance in there. There really is. I love fucking horizontal lens flare and a lot of soldiers bracing themselves and then opening fire at once. Kojima does that like nobody. So any closing thoughts?
No, all I know is next time we do one of these really, 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 really long podcasts, I should probably have a bottle of water here. My throat is dying.
You probably. We intend to do more of these. On prominent games, at least the ones that are coming out in the next few months, because there's some biggies.
Ones that we can talk a lot about.
Yeah, and this was one of those games. The review will be up soon. Check back soon, GameDropZone.com.
And now we talk about the gameplay for another hour and 40 minutes. So, what is...
So, anime girl boxes. Boy, they're the shit.